Next to us today we have the Fuel Rally Raid Marathon Jacket. This is an expansion of the Rally Raid collection which came out earlier in the season, and as the name suggests, this is really designed for those with more of an adventurous spirit. As a brand, Fuel have always done things a bit more different to the mainstream brands in our range, really using a lot of off-road and moto inspired styling in their items, and sometimes it works really well. So things like the Sergeant trousers have been some of the best-selling jeans in our lineup as a result of this more overtly moto inspired look. And the Rally Raid collection has proven pretty popular as well, but the Marathon Jacket comes out as an alternate to it. So it's effectively lighter weight and actually, although coming later in the season, is arguably more suited to warmer climates than the Rally Raid is. This doesn't have a removable thermal liner, which that one does, but interestingly this one comes in at almost £200 cheaper, in at £289. It is AA CE approved as well, which is fantastic. It comes with a full set of level 2 CE approved removable body armour in the elbows, shoulders and back, and there's quite a lot of functionality to it as well. So I think it's a really compelling item if you want something with this, I would say, slightly heritage adventure look that's really nicely tailored from a very cool brand at a reasonable price. So this is waterproof and breathable, but the way it goes about it is a little bit unusual. It has a removable inner waterproof and breathable membrane jacket, effectively. So the outer is a canvas polyamide, which is a heavy duty canvas. It looks really nice, but it's not waxed or treated with any kind of waterproofing quality in and of itself. And there's positives and negatives to that. So a lot of the time we do see these canvases with a wax coating, which is great in keeping the water off rather than having it actually saturate the outer fabric. But the flip side to that is it's not as breathable. So the moisture escaping that we naturally excrete as we go along day to day and as we're riding particularly, especially on spirited adventure rides, is just going to build up. And it means that it's kind of getting stuck behind that barrier on the outside of the wax. Whereas here, having nothing to treat it at all, it's going to go much more easily. Plus it's also combined with the fact that you've got these horizontal vent pockets here on the upper chest area, here on the sleeves, and also across the back with a large horizontal exit vent as well to create a really good degree of airflow. So it's a very breathable, relatively lightweight canvas jacket, even though it's heavy duty in terms of the protection it offers, because it has aramid fibre lining in a number of the key impact zones, giving it this AA CE approved rating. But the waterproofing is this jacket underneath. So let's just skip ahead to the internals for a second. So as we go under, you're going to see what I mean. There is a jacket here on the inside, which is really quite thin. It doesn't add too much to the bulk of it. The only place you notice it is really on the cuffs, which are elasticated on this portion of the jacket on the inside of the sleeves. Now that comes out very easily with two zips. One runs either side, and take that out, and underneath you've just got this sports liner and a few pockets. But this really gives it this waterproofing element. It also, because it's a waterproof and breathable membrane, it's also windproof. And this actually has a slight sort of thermal insulation effect because you don't get the wind chill coming through. So actually it's quite good in giving it a bit more versatility temperature-wise. So perhaps if you're somewhere that's going to start cold in the mornings but get warmer, this is a really good solution because it comes out very easily and it makes the jacket then go from something that's going to keep me warm enough to something that's actually got loads of ventilation for really hot afternoon finishes as well. But because the waterproofing barrier is here, essentially all the jacket up to that point will eventually saturate and get wet if you are caught out in a large degree of rainfall. And that's not optimal for things like temperature regulation, because this being wet, and if it's cold as well with the wind chill factor, means that although you are dry on the inside, you're likely to get that chill, and it's not as good as something that had a waterproof membrane on the outside. But it's a trade-off. What is the kind of riding you're going to be doing? And also it's a trade-off in price, because this would be vastly more expensive if it had something like a laminated seam-sealed waterproof and breathable membrane on the underside of this outer layer. It would probably be at least double in price. So it's a trade-off you have to decide for yourselves whether it's worth it. But basically, this allows you to stay dry. So really, I'd say if you're going somewhere that's likely to be cold and wet, don't look at this jacket. But if you're somewhere that's likely to be warm and has the potential to be wet and you don't want to get wet yourself, but it's not going to be so chilly that it actually chills you, then this is a great option. It's a really good way of going about it. Of course, you've always got the option as well of just putting over a rain suit or a rain jacket, and that will alleviate all the problems I've just mentioned on this outer getting wet. So it's a good degree of versatility, and I think it actually works quite well for the way this jacket is intended. It only comes in this colour in the camel, but I think it looks really nice. And the only sort of slight question mark, I suppose, is a few branding elements. So you've got the very large fuel point on the left chest area, which you've probably already spotted. There's the logo patch on the left sleeve. You've got it engraved into the hardware for the snaps. And you've also got this patch here which says "Leave the main road" with this slightly vibrant coloration to it. So that's the only slightly Marmite thing. I think everything else looks really good and tones in nicely, but the patch is there, so you have to decide for yourself. You've got nice comfort lining to the collar, which means you can do it up nice and tight. You've got a storm flap which backs on itself as well, acts a bit like a sort of drain pipe, so any water that gets pushed in here is going to be channeled down and away from you and the zip, and therefore not get to the inside of the jacket. You've also got this overlay pocket with a waterproof zip on the underside of it as well, which actually is lined, that pocket, so it's a good place to keep something dry. And you've got adjustment options by virtue of the cuffs, collars, the waist section with Velcro overlay, and also you can splay it out slightly at the bottom either side too. So there's a lot of adjustability. The sizing's definitely true to the size guide, so this is listed as being a large and a 41 to 42 inch chest. I am somewhere in between those two and a 6'2". It fits me perfectly. It's really nicely tailored. So I think that for the price, this jacket really does offer quite a lot. It offers fantastic looks, and really AAC approval coming in at this price is also very impressive as well. Fuel traditionally not being the most price competitive brand we offer, but I do think there's a lot going for the Rally Raid jacket, the marathon edition that we have next to us here. There's also the matching trousers. Peculiarly though, just to note, the trousers don't have any removable waterproof liner to them, so you'd need a rain trouser to go with that, which is a little bit odd, but there you go, just to point that out. Both are in stock and available now. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, leave that in the section below. And otherwise, stay tuned for more video reviews of the world's finest riding gear. Thank you for watching. See you again soon. Goodbye.